What if I told you Hollywood's golden boy, Ashton Kutcher, isn't as squeaky clean as he seems? With his once celebrated charity, Thorn, now linked to disturbing allegations, the cracks in his perfect image are showing. Multiple victims connected to the organization are allegedly stepping forward, and the truth might be worse than we ever imagined. Ashton Kutcher has been the poster young'un of Hollywood's good guys for years. From his activism to his charm on screen, he's been almost untouchable. But now, as the darker side of Hollywood continues to unravel, Kutcher's name is being dragged into the mix. Allegedly, multiple victims linked to his charity, Thorn, are coming forward with accusations that paint a very different picture.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years.
Let's not forget, Thorn was established to combat young and sexual exploitation and an incredibly noble mission. However, with Ashton's ties to Diddy, who's knee-deep in allegations himself, people are side-eyeing Kutcher's motives and questioning if there's more to his charity story. Kutcher recently resigned from the very charity he founded after his support for convicted R-word Danny Masterson came to light. Let's backtrack. Kutcher and his wife, Mila Kunis, both co-stars of Masterson on that 70s show, sent letters to the court advocating for him after his conviction. In Kutcher's letter, he described Masterson as someone who treated others with decency and generosity. Following the public outrage, Kutcher admitted his letter was an error in judgment and stepped down from Thorn's board, stating he didn't want his actions to overshadow the organization's mission. But let's keep it real. This move seems more like damage control than genuine accountability.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
Let's talk about that support letter because it should have been the first red flag. Defending a convicted rapist, especially when you've built a platform around protecting victims, is beyond hypocritical. Victim advocacy groups and survivors slammed both Kutcher and Kunis for their tone-deaf actions. At the time, many gave Kutcher the benefit of the doubt, chalking it up to misplaced loyalty. But now, it's clear that this was just the tip of the iceberg. His resignation from Thorn feels like an attempt to shift focus away from his own questionable behavior and back onto the organization's work.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
To be fair, Thorn has made some impactful strides. Since its inception in 2012, the charity claims to have identified 27,000 young'un victims and removed over 2 million pieces of young'un SA material from the internet. That's an impressive legacy, but it also raises some questions. If Thorn was doing so much good, why would Ashton Kutcher feel the need to step down over a single error in judgment? Could there be more happening behind the scenes? The timing of his resignation feels far too convenient, especially with these new allegations coming to light.
Breaking news, Ashton Kutcher is officially stepping down from his nonprofit Thorn.
It's no secret that Hollywood has a history of covering up its darkest secrets, and Kutcher's connections aren't helping his case. His charity was created to fight exploitation, but his ties to figures like Diddy, who's facing his own avalanche of accusations, have people wondering if Thorn might have been a smokescreen to hide something deeper.
And as part of that job that I take very seriously, I believe that it is my effort to defend their right to pursue happiness and to ensure a society and government that defends it as well.
When you pair that with Kutcher's willingness to publicly defend Masterson, it makes you question his judgment and maybe even his true intentions. Could this all be part of a larger web of deceit within Hollywood's elite? Let's not ignore how stepping down from Thorn shifts the spotlight away from Kutcher and onto the organization. It's almost like a PR move to dodge the heat while still maintaining the illusion of accountability. But here's the thing, resigning doesn't erase what happened. If anything, it makes the situation look even shadier. What's worse is that the victims linked to Thorn are now allegedly coming forward, sharing their stories.
Asking for my help because we had received a call from the Department of Homeland Security telling us that a 7-year-old girl was being that content was being spread around the dark web.
Even Hollywood actress Christina Ricci chimed in with her own pointed criticism. Following Ashton and Mila Kunis's controversial letters to the court supporting their convicted co-star Danny Masterson, Ricci took to Instagram with a statement that many believe was aimed directly at the couple. Ricci wrote, "People we know as awesome guys can be pedophiles and tormentors. It's tough to accept, but we have to." She also added that to discredit the offended is a crime. Ricci, best known for her role as Wednesday Addams in The Addams Family, didn't hold back, shining a spotlight on a troubling Hollywood culture of protecting pedophiles. With her statement, she not only called out Ashton and Mila, but also reinforced the importance of supporting victims rather than defending offenders.
A few hours after Ashton posted that video on his Instagram, Christina wrote this on her Instagram story. So sometimes people we have loved and admired do horrible things.
If the allegations surrounding Ashton Kutcher's Thorn charity weren't bad enough, let's dive into another chilling chapter connected to his name: the mysterious death of his ex-girlfriend, Britney Murphy. While many remember Britney as a talented and bubbly actress, her sudden and shocking passing at just 32 years old left a cloud of suspicion, one that has lingered for years.
Hollywood is mourning the loss of Britney Murphy this morning. The 32-year-old actress died on Sunday from what officials say appear to be natural causes. An autopsy is planned, reportedly against the wishes of her husband.
Ashton and Britney's romance was short-lived, lasting just 5 months after they met on the set of Just Married. But their connection made headlines, especially with rumors swirling about matching rings and a potential engagement. Fast forward to December 20th, 2009, when the world woke up to the devastating news of Britney's untimely death.
To me, I think what makes it work is, I know...
Is it you're so freaking hot?
No, is being able to do scenes with him and being in it with him. I mean...
The official cause of death? Pneumonia, anemia, and a mix of prescription and over-the-counter medications. Sounds straightforward, right? Well, not exactly. Britney had reportedly been feeling unwell for days, struggling with flu-like symptoms. But the details surrounding her passing raised red flags. Early that morning, she collapsed in the bathroom of her Hollywood Hills home. Despite a frantic 911 call from her mother, Sharon Murphy, Britney was pronounced dead at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The home where Britney passed, a 10,000-square-foot mansion in the Hollywood Hills, added another eerie layer to her story. Britney had purchased the property in 2003 from none other than Britney Spears, who allegedly sold it because of unsettling experiences. Britney herself reportedly hated the house, referring to it as unlucky, and even begging her husband, Simon Monjack, to move elsewhere. Tragically, this very home became the scene of not one, but 2 deaths. Just 5 months after Britney's passing, Simon was also found dead in the same house under similarly mysterious circumstances.
He had significant heart disease. He had significant liver disease. There was also evidence of neurological disease and a whole series of other diseases as well. He was also epileptic. The type of methamphetamine found in Britney's system is not from the streets, it's from an asthmatic's puffer. It only opens up the air passages.
While the official reports dismissed the idea of toxic mold in the home as a cause of death, whispers of something far more sinister have persisted for years. Was there something dark about the house? Or was it a scapegoat for something darker happening behind the scenes? Britney's cause of death, pneumonia-like symptoms, sounds eerily familiar. Let's not forget Kim Porter's passing, where similar symptoms were reported, leading to speculation that she was poisoned. And guess who's been tied to both Ashton Kutcher and Kim Porter? Sean Diddy Combs.
When someone passes away with cyanide in their body, it looks like they passed away from pneumonia. And there's 2 people that are close to Diddy that passed away from pneumonia.
Ashton and Diddy have been known to run in the same circles, with Ashton even attending Diddy's infamous white parties. Now, if the rumors are true, could Ashton have gained access to whatever poison may have been used to silence Britney through his close buddy Diddy? Allegedly, Britney saw the darker side of Hollywood and became a liability. If she was on the verge of exposing too much, Ashton could have been the perfect person to ensure she was silenced, quietly and permanently.
I would say rather mysterious circumstances that Diddy had something to do with the death of his ex-partner and the mother to his children.
Let's not forget how quickly Ashton distanced himself from Britney after her death. While he made brief statements expressing his sadness, he never dug into the details of what happened. Some might call it moving on, but others see it as calculated silence. Given Ashton's squeaky clean image at the time, many wouldn't suspect him of foul play. But his close ties to Diddy and his presence at the center of some of Hollywood's most questionable events paint a much darker picture. Allegedly, Ashton might have been more involved in silencing Britney than anyone could have imagined. If Britney Murphy's death wasn't chilling enough, Ashton Kutcher's past gets even darker when you look at his connection to Ashley Ellerin. In 2001, Ellerin, a 22-year-old student at LA's Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, was brutally unalived in her Hollywood home. And while the case pinned the crime on serial killer Michael Gargiulo, there are some details that just don't sit right, especially when you consider Ashton's involvement.
And now Ashton Kutcher is one of more than 100 witnesses set to testify in the now infamous trial.
Ashley and Ashton were supposed to go on their first date that evening. According to Ashton's testimony, they had dinner and drinks planned, and the two spoke on the phone earlier to confirm their plans. However, things took a turn when Ashton arrived at Ashley's home between 10:30 and 10:45 p.m. Ashton claims he knocked on the door but got no answer, despite the lights being on. He also tried calling her multiple times, but Ashley didn't pick up. What's even more bizarre is that Ashton noticed what he thought were red wine stains on the floor, but didn't think much of it. Instead, he assumed Ashley had gone out with friends and decided to leave. The next day, Ashton learned the horrifying truth. Ashley had been viciously attacked and stabbed 47 times. The red wine stains he saw, they weren't wine at all. Michael Gargiulo, later dubbed the Hollywood Ripper, was charged with Ashley's red rum, along with the red rums of two other women. Gargiulo was known to stalk his victims, and Ashley's friends reported seeing him parked outside her house and showing up uninvited. On the surface, it seems like an open and shut case, but let's dig a little deeper. For starters, Ashton's actions on the night of Ashley's unaliving have raised eyebrows. He testified that he touched the doorknob while trying to enter the house, and later panicked, thinking his fingerprints would tie him to the crime. While that might seem like a reasonable reaction, some have questioned why Ashton didn't report the red stains he saw or push harder when Ashley didn't answer her door.
And this is her living room. Her body was found in the rear near the bathroom.
Kutcher testified that the next day he told police he was freaked out because he realized his fingerprints were all over the front doorknob. He said he stopped off at a friend's house to watch the Grammys and called Ashley at 8:24 to say he was running late. She told him she'd just gotten out of the shower and was about to dry her hair.
And let's not forget the timing. Prosecutors believe Ashley was unalived shortly after her phone call with Ashton, meaning the red rum happened right before he arrived. Was Ashton simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or is there more to the story? Ellerin Redrum, how many tragic losses can one person be connected to before it starts to look suspicious? Some have speculated that Ashton's Hollywood status may have shielded him from deeper scrutiny. After all, it's hard to imagine a world where someone with less fame and influence would walk away without more questions being asked. Plus, the fact that Ashton described the bloodstains as red wine has people wondering if he truly didn't notice anything off or if he was trying to cover his tracks. It's also worth noting that Ashley's unaliving isn't the first time Ashton's name has been tied to tragedy, just the most high-profile one.
Mr. Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor. We believe now the evidence will show that was actually blood, and Ashley had already been.
And let's be real. How unlucky can one person be? Ashton's proximity to so many tragedies is either the worst luck in Hollywood or a sign that something far more sinister is going on. As if Ashton Kutcher's name wasn't already tangled in controversy, the story of Davy Chase adds another disturbing layer to the narrative. Davy, known for her stellar voice work as Lilo in Lilo and Stitch and her spine-chilling role as Samara in The Ring, was once a shining star in Hollywood. But despite her early success, her career faded almost as quickly as it rose. Now, resurfaced allegations and a viral clip from the 2003 MTV Movie Awards have people questioning what really happened behind the scenes. At the height of her fame, Davy Chase was invited to the 2003 MTV Movie Awards. She was just 12 years old at the time and was being honored for her role as Samara in The Ring, a performance that won her the Best Villain award. During the ceremony, Ashton Kutcher, who was 25 at the time, presented Davy with her award alongside Sean Diddy Combs. What should have been a celebratory moment has taken on a much darker tone, thanks to a resurfaced clip. In the video, Ashton can be seen hovering over Davy, gently patting her shoulder while telling her, "You're doing so good, so good." While this might seem harmless on the surface, many viewers found it unsettling, especially given what happens next.
Ideas we had just for our intro to make it a little bit harder.
Okay.
So here's the thing. See, we wanted to start off on a yacht. us on a yacht with hot chicks drinking champagne.
Shortly after the awards ceremony, the video shows Diddy approaching Davi backstage. In what can only be described as wildly inappropriate, Diddy casually invites the 12-year-old actress to his infamous after-party. He's seen holding a drink and asks her, "You coming to the after-party tonight?" It's unclear if Davy attended the party, but the invitation alone has sparked outrage. Fans took to social media, slamming both Diddy and Ashton for their behavior.
Coming to the after party alone?
The video also raises questions about Ashton's involvement. While his interaction with Davi at the ceremony may not seem damning on its own, the fact that he stood alongside Diddy during this exchange has led some to speculate that Ashton was complicit in this behavior.
That was hot. That was hot. That's probably legal. Okay, here are the nominees for the best villain.
Davy Chase was once one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. Between her iconic roles in Lilo and Stitch and The Ring and her work in Spirited Away, she seemed destined for a long and successful career. But by her late teens, she had all but disappeared from the spotlight.
Hi. How are you doing? How's the New Year's going for you?
Great. Please don't do this.
Sorry. Well, Happy New Year anyways. I'm sorry.
Happy New Year, Steve.
While some assumed she simply stepped away from Hollywood to live a normal life, others have speculated that her departure was far from voluntary. Could the industry's darker side have played a role in her disappearance? And was Ashton Kutcher, who was present during these troubling moments, somehow involved?
Lookbook for spring.
What makes this story even more disturbing is how it contrasts with Ashton's public image. As the co-founder of Thorn, a foundation dedicated to combating youngin exploitation, Ashton has spent years positioning himself as a champion for victims. But how does that align with his behavior at the 2003 MTV Movie Awards? If Ashton truly believed in protecting vulnerable youngins, why didn't he step in when Diddy invited a 12-year-old to an after-party? And why is there speculation that he may have taken advantage of Davi behind the scenes, contributing to her decision to retreat from the spotlight?
But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion.
So, after hearing all of this, doesn't it make you wonder just how deep Ashton Kutcher's involvement in these situations might go? Could there be even more dark secrets tied to his charity and personal life that haven't surfaced yet? And how does this change the way we view celebrities who present themselves as heroes, but behind the scenes might be part of something much darker? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And while you're here, don't forget to smash that like button if you found this dive interesting, and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into Hollywood secrets. Oh, and make sure you check out the next video on the end screen. It's another wild one you won't want to miss.